immediately to my left. And Talk on the Bayou brought to all of us by Thibodeau Regional Health System, the Cancer Center of Thibodeau Regional, an accredited program providing comprehensive cancer care for more than 17 years. REV, RTC, ETEL, and Vision Communications are now REV, KLEB's internet service provider nationally. If I can get into that, come on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. And what's the headline? City meeting erupts into chaos as residents rip far-left mayor over illegal migrant spending. And I can certainly understand that. We should be spending our hard-earned money on our local people and not so much on these illegal migrants. And I know I'm right. Anyway, truck.
I didn't quite hear what you were saying.
I was looking at this main headline on Fox News. It says, city meeting erupts into chaos as residents rip far-left mayor over illegal migrant spending. Why spend money on people who really aren't supposed to be here?
Take care of America first.
That's in Chicago.
Take care of America first.
Chicago Mayor boots public from rowdy city meeting as residents object to migrant invasion. No doubt about it. I'm with these people. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson booted members of the public from a city meeting on his proposed 2025 budget on Monday after residents vocally protested against extensive funding for migrants. I agree with the folks.
Take care of Americans first.
While Johnson's 2025 budget narrowly passed on Monday, it was only after the mayor ordered a temporary recess to allow police to clear residents from the hall to allow council members to vote. It took 6 weeks of debate for Johnson to secure the 26 votes necessary to pass the budget plan, with the opposition succeeding in removing a proposed $300 million property tax. The plan also adopts a $40 million short-term loan that allows the city to delay paying off its debt, a major point of criticism for many of the protesters. I can understand that. Why should you have to go to debt over people who aren't supposed to be here?
I repeat myself. Take care of Americans first. And, if you're here illegally, get in line, fill out the proper documents, and let's get you accounted for. We're not going to keep people hungry, but I think we have a call already.
Let's go for it. Bonjour, you're on live on Talk on the Bayou.
Good morning, Ken. Representative George, we're all calling in. How are y'all?
Representative, we're doing fine and even better now that you're on the line.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure.
I just passed the radio station, and I'm driving to New Orleans to our other former representative's office. I'm going to former Representative Lulin Pete's office in New Orleans for a LA1 elevated highway update.
Tell him we all said hello.
We will, Truck. Thank you very much.
Are you looking at finding out or gaining new information regarding the elevated highway?
Yeah, I mean, basically, once the construction of the final phase started, Ori Boulay, the executive director of the LA1 Coalition, still had the obligation of collecting the promised monies or the pledged monies by the oil companies that work out of Fouchon, who early on had pledged that. And I believe that's what it is. It's an update on that. And maybe we might get into the tolls and stuff like that. I know that's one of the things I've gotten a few constituents calls on is the toll rates and how that's working out with the new company that's handling the third party company. It's no longer DOTD directly administering the Go Pass, but a third party company, and how that's working out now.
Well, certainly it's good to know that there's some refinement that's in order there, and the fact that changes can be made if they're necessary.
Well, They were pretty much costing from my understanding, the cost associated to DOTD for them to run their own people to run the Go Pass collection center was costing just about as much as we collected, believe it or not. So that's why they opted to go with a third party company who came in with a much lower bid, I believe.
That was going to be my, I guess, a follow-up question was how are the collections, the revenues from the tolls? Obviously, we're not keeping up with the note.
$8 million note. We were collecting about $4 million, a little over $4 million, and it was costing DOTD just under $4 million whenever they were running it. So now they got a new company that said that they would do it for, I don't know, I want to say under $3 million or something like that. And we still got the $8 million note to pay each year. And I think that now that's got refinanced and that goes, I'm guessing, but I want to say it's 2043 now is whenever that ends, whenever there will be no more toll on the bridge.
Right. Well, it's a commitment we made. What is it? The Tifia loan?
Yeah, that's it. And Citibank or Citicorp is the one that actually, ultimately is what I'm remembering from discussions with Mr. Boulay is that they're the ones that basically bonded it out, and that's where the collected monies go to basically pay them back.
Well, it's we've had a shortfall in collections ever since the oil spill, and there was an uptick from all the contractors, but then the summer crowd, it took a couple of years to recover the numbers that we were accustomed to during the summer. But again, I don't know what the tourist information has been like. I'm sure Hurricane Ida put a dent in us in the daily commutes for a couple of years, but hopefully we'll get back to normal and get close to retrieving that annual cost.
I hope so. I think whenever, like perusing Facebook and when people complain about the toll, I think it's important for them to understand that all we're paying for in that toll is from the Go Pass with the 90-degree connection, the bridge over the Bayou, which is called the Tommy Doucet Memorial Bridge, and then the other 90
route that would take away from the toll collections. But again, it's a very complicated project, and hopefully it's going to come to an end, construction-wise, come to an end. What's our projected date?
July 2027 still, and we're gonna get it. I'm gonna definitely get an update on that, but only within a week or two ago, I talked to Henri about it, and we were still on for July 2027, and still there's a date within that month that if we don't do ribbon cutting and there's not cars passing, that James Construction is going to start owing the state money to pay back. So that's still the plan.
Well, we hope they don't have to pay a penalty. That'll mean everything's on schedule, and it's been a project for this region for several decades that's finally going to be completed.
Right. Just to clarify, I'm not sure if I caught with your last statement there, but that's James Construction, the contractor, will have to pay the state a penalty.
Right.
If they're any later. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Let's hope they don't have to pay a penalty. That means we're done. So.
That's right. We want the bridge open.
You're right.
Speaking of wanting the bridge open, I did put an update on the Golden Meadow Bridge last night on Facebook, and it's not the best news, but what it is that I had been pressuring the DOTD engineer to get the gearbox repaired and back to the bridge because, standing between us and an operating Golden Meadow Bridge is that gearbox being repaired, tested, and reinstalled. And on my urging, he went to the shop where it's being repaired. There were a few bearings in there that were out of tolerance. That was, like, as he said, off-the-shelf products that could be replaced that were approved by DOTD to get done. But unfortunately, one of the components of the clutch, not sure if it was a pressure plate, flywheel, or a fork or something, but he said one of the parts was not it couldn't be found off the shelf, and that they would have to cast and machine a replica of it to put back in there. And that would add 3 weeks. And then once that's done, that gearbox would be all buttoned up and tested in their shop where it's at with no load. I don't know how you said how it's spun for 30 minutes one direction with temperatures taken before and after to check, make sure everything's good, and then spun in the other direction after it cools down. But no matter what, whenever it's done with there, it has to go to a second testing facility where the same process is done with the full rated load placed, in a testing jig, I guess you could call it.
Right.
Before that rebuilt gearbox could be commissioned safely to be put back on top of the bridge. And whenever I said, well, give me the rundown of all of that and what we're looking at, he basically said somewhere early February, in the first couple of weeks of February. So beginning of February to mid-February is the new target date to get the Golden Meadow Bridge operational right now.
Of 2025.
Yes, the upcoming one in 2025.
Correct. Yeah, it's been one of those projects that they're always opening up a can of worms, and you know how that goes. You find other issues, but finally it may come to an end.
I'm hoping and praying, as hopefully everyone understands that where I live, I'm inconvenienced as well, and I want it to be open as much as everybody, down the bayou from me.
Well, you have gone above and beyond the call of duty on this issue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, and the other question that keeps coming up, and I think I've answered it 5 or 6 times, and why is it not being painted and blasted while we're down? But the answer is the same, and that is that basically a couple of months after the bridge broke on November 10th, 2022, I went meet in Baton Rouge with the Movable Bridge Maintenance Division head, and I asked that question, how long this is going to take structurally and all of this, and why don't we accelerate and do the blast and paint? And the answer I got was, there's only money in the budget in order to do the current structural repairs, and there is a 2026, 2027 fiscal year refurbishment on the books for that bridge built in 1971. That's its refurbished window, and there's, I guess you could say, I'm assuming money's been allotted and put on standby for that refurbishment is how it was explained to me.
Well, when a bridge like that is built, it's for a 50 years span, and guess what? We're 50 years old.
There, yeah.
So, I know we're going to be inconvenienced again, but they have to schedule, and we can't jump the line of maintenance of other projects. How many bridges in the state? Thousands, and we're one of them. So we have to get in line, and obviously have to wait our turn, and obviously the money has to be allocated. Right.
Well, I thought with 12 movable bridges in District 54 that we had the most, but the other day I found myself going on a natural resources field trip with Jessica Domain from Southern Terrebonne Parish.
Right.
And I think she counted 16 in hers, but I think her 16 and my 12 by 4 eclipse any other state representative district in Louisiana as far as movable bridges go. I don't think anybody else got those many.
Well, there's very, very few. I think we have some of the only pontoon bridges, but most of the other bridges are what am I looking for? The vertical lift.
Span?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Vertical lift is movable, right? I thought you meant in the rest of Louisiana, there's, thousands and thousands of bridges, fixed span bridges that don't move.
Right. So, but right. we live in a marine,
environment,
canals
right.
with navigable vessels going back and forth. So we have to live with bridges that have the capability of opening and closing. So,
correct.
So anyway, thanks for the update, Representative Orgeron. We appreciate you calling in.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Truck. If anything else comes up, don't hesitate to have your board master buddy text me, and I'll be happy to jump back on a call if needed.
There we
Our
go.
Executive producer.
Executive producer.
Yes.
That's Lamsa.
Way Lamsa. All right. Thank you,
Joe,
Rep.
Joe, thank you so much for calling us. Stay in touch.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right, there we go. Let's take a quick time out. We're going to come back. We have Dylan Chiasson coming on with us at 10:30. And Talking the Bayou brought to all of us by Thibodeau Regional Health System. The Cancer Center at Thibodeau Regional, an accredited program providing comprehensive cancer care for more than 17 years. Rev, RTC, E-Tel, and Vision Communications are now Rev, KLEB's internet service provider for streaming, and Lady of the Sea General Hospital, focusing on quality health care. We'll be right back.
Raging Cajun weather. For the Rose this afternoon, sunshine with a high of 72. Partly cloudy with areas of fog forming tonight, low 56. Wednesday, sunny, high again 72. Sunny and cooler Thursday, high 64. For New Iberia this afternoon, we'll have sunshine with a high of 78. Partly cloudy tonight, low 58. Wednesday, sunny, high 76. A sunny, cooler day Thursday, high 66. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi on the Raging Cajun.
Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. The 2024 Louisiana Electoral College meets at 11:30 at the state capitol today to cast their official votes for President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Joel Watson with the Louisiana Secretary of State's office says he can watch the historic moment on the Louisiana Legislature's website.
That's legis.la.gov. If they want to view the live stream of this event, it starts at 11:30 a.m., and the meeting of the electors themselves, when they cast their vote, will start at 12.
Researchers at Texas A&M Corpus Christi have found pharmaceuticals, including fentanyl, in several bottlenose dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico. Marine biologist at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Dr. Dara Orbach, on how this is possible.
They're usually getting different contaminants from the prey. So that would suggest that the prey are either drinking or consuming or absorbing these different drugs, and then they reach their way all the way up the food chain or the food web to the apex predators like dolphins.
Louisiana Radio Network.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Celebrate the magic of the season with last-minute deals at Target. With up to 50% off toys and video games, you'll save so much while you finish your list. Plus, you'll find incredible deals on clothing, beauty, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And there are even more ways to save when you join Target Circle for free and get exclusive deals automatically. Hurry to save on gifts before last-minute deals are over. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
State police have arrested a former Bossier City Police deputy chief for carnal knowledge of a juvenile. Investigators say 57-year-old Richard McGee committed the crime of felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile with at least one victim from 1994 to 1999. He was booked into the Caddo Correctional Center. A beloved sheriff in North Louisiana has passed away. Colleen Crane reports.
Richland Parish Sheriff Gary Gilly passed away over the weekend at the age of 66. His family was at his side. One of Sheriff Gilly's contemporaries, Ouachita Parish Sheriff Mark Mashaw, says Gilly's death is not only a huge loss for Richland Parish, but for all of Louisiana.
This department's in mourning over the loss of Sheriff Gilly, but he was one of us.
Gilly worked in law enforcement for almost 30 years, the last 8 as sheriff. His funeral will be held Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Mangum Baptist Church, preceded by visitation starting at 10 a.m. I'm Colleen Crane.
And I'm Jeff Palermo, Louisiana Radio Network.
At Adams Dumpster Rentals, we always go that extra mile by offering 14-yard and 20-yard dumpsters to properly dispose of construction debris. With Adams Dumpster Rentals being local and providing competitive pricing, we are helping to keep our community a beautiful place to live. Always giving back to the community, Adams Dumpster Rentals. Call 985-696-6288. That's 985-696-6288.
Home health services in South Lafourche are vital right now. Look no further than Lady of the Sea Home Health. For the sick, the elderly, and the homebound, our caring staff makes each day a little brighter, a little better. With quality health care and warm, genuine support, you and your loved ones are the most comfortable, content, and independent in your own home. Speak to your physician today about home health services from Lady of the Sea. Call 985-632-6900 for more information. Quality health care locally for you.
Start your day off with a fresh brewed cup of Mellow Joy, the original Cajun coffee company since 1936. It brings members to Louisiana's rich culture. Available in dark, medium roast, decaf, and full line of flavored specialty coffees. Mellow Joy is available in selected grocery stores in your area. To begin receiving Mellow Joy at your office, call 1-86-MELLOW-JOY. C'est les cafés du Mellow Joy, c'est des plus joie.
Whether you've been injured in a car or in a boat, call Scott Vignair Injury Lawyers. We fight for the win.
Scott Vignair, injury attorneys. We fight for the win.
David Vignair, New Orleans, LA 2417685, Paige Inglesing.
It'll be their 80th anniversary.
Hot mic.
Oh, and we're back. As I'm doing my calculating. Phone line is open, by the way, at 693-1600 if you want to give us a call. Feel free to do so. But Bud at Master Control, Truck and Ken at the mics. And Truck, what are we looking at as far as, or what are you looking at? What do you think of at this time of year as far as celebrating or whatever it might be? We'll throw Bud in there as well, and me also. And the phone line is open at 693-1600. Do you ever think back to when you were 5 years old, 6 years old, something like that?
5 years old. I don't quite remember. But looking back, growing up as a kid, it was the big meal, the big family meal, yeah. And obviously opening up the presents on Christmas Day. Now people do it the week before, or whenever. But the issue is a lot of family members are trying to go to too many other family members' homes for lunch.
Right.
So it's become difficult as the families grow to have that one meal that you were accustomed to as a kid. But, we're going to have the major meal, and everybody looks forward to going to see their respective relatives, in-laws, and what have you. And then normally that night you have that second round of gumbo or whatever. So, but it's just a great
games?
feeling. Well, it's a great feeling of having the family together. So that's the part I enjoy.
And certainly the phone line is open at 693-1600 if you want to share some of your Christmas thoughts, your plans, whatever it might be, give us a call. And you don't have to give your name unless you want to, but certainly it's a wonderful time of the year, and that's pretty much the bottom line.
There's one movie that I think I might. I'm not into Christmas movies, but the one with the kid writing to Santa, and he writes Satan, thinking he's writing to Santa, and Jack Black shows up.
Satan.
I think I would enjoy that one. It's going to be similar to the one Home Alone or whatever, but Jack Black is a nut. But it ought to be a funny movie. So.
It's supposed to be, and certainly, again, as we said, phone line open 693-1600. Family traditions, gathering around the table, stuff to eat. Of course, mine was different than back in the day than what I have now, and certainly they're all great. That's pretty much it.
Well, we're gonna try and do something. My niece and my sisters got together last year or year before. Niece and nephew-in-law. They made some homemade tarts with my mother's recipe. I believe that was her recipe on the crust. But anyway, thinking of making tarts, 3 or 4 different types, and it's a big process. But again, I don't know. It's just the envie that hit me, and I want to do it the old way.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And certainly that takes me back to when I was a kid, and they were different. I was in a completely different location, but that's okay. Now I'm down here, and the food categories are different, but great.
They're best over here.
They're all good.
Well, I don't want no clam chowder.
I never had clam chowder up there. I never had any of that kind of stuff.
Well,
and I don't miss it. I miss. It was always turkey and stuffing, and I don't know, rice or cream. I don't know if we had rice or not. If rice was kind of a something special that I fell into, so-called when I came down here, was rice. Must have been mashed potatoes. I don't know.
Was there gumbo on the East Coast?
Oh, no, there was no gumbo. There was no gumbo.
Y'all don't know what's life, what's living. Anyway,
well,
what was the big dish on the East Coast?
Turkey. Turkey was the big dish back then. Baked turkey.
Well, okay.
So there was no gumbo, but there was always plenty of turkey. Let's go to the caller line. Bonjour, you're on live on Talk on the Bayou.
Hey, I thought the councilman from Cutoff was coming on to talk about the drainage around the school.
She is scheduled for 10:30.
Okay, and I want her to talk about the money she spent on her stepson's property.
Well, we're gonna allow the council person to. Buddy, he hung up.
Well,
we're gonna allow the council person to talk about whatever she wants to talk about, and we can ask whatever questions affecting the area. So, the cutoff school, obviously, I'm sure she's hopefully coming prepared
to talk about that. And because her constituents are concerned about that situation, and that's the bottom line. They do the voting.
You're right. Same thing. I'm hoping Mr. Armand from Lockport. I think he's. I want to say he's retired from the Marines, or was he just a Marine?
Just a Marine. Wait a minute.
A Marine.
Just a Marine. Now you're stepping in it.
You're going to get shot over just a Marine.
Well, I mean, it's a Marine. What? We had to give him a ride, point A to point B.
Oh, here we go.
You were just an airman, right?
I was a yard bird.
Me too.
All right, I was a yard bird.
It wasn't too much.
I got to fly for 6 months, but for 3.5 years, I was a yard bird. Anyway.
Which meant your primary duties were what?
Flight line and
that's
electronic shop.
More than me.
Well, you were a doctor. So anyway, we're not reliving our past life.
No, you're right.
Anyway, we're looking forward. I hope forward. But tonight, I'm making a trip to Grand Isle. We're having a middle school doubleheader, I believe. So it's going to be a 50-mile trip one way, but looking forward to covering middle school. I believe it's LCO versus the Grand Isle Trojans. So anyway, tip off 5:30, I believe. But
all right, just to let people know, what is our schedule for next week? Airtime schedule. Have you looked at that yet?
I don't know, but there should be a talk on the Bayou on Monday and one on Friday, so we can give you all the time off that you need in and around Christmas.
You talking to me? You're saying that to me?
Robert De Niro said, "You
talking to me?"
Yes. So anyway, buddy.
I've been seeing a lot of news, a lot of wrecks, a lot of everything on this bridge before.
What bridge?
Causeway. 40 to 50 vehicles were involved in a multiple crash on the Causeway overpass.
Wait, Causeway.
Going to north to south of the Mandeville.
Oh, okay.
What's the matter with these people?
Yeah, this morning.
Fog related?
Yeah, I believe so. 40 to 50 vehicles.
Well, that time of year with the temperature of the lake and the fronts coming through is a recipe for fog.
Unbelievable. And they got another crash on I-55, I think it's called. You got some more vehicles.
That's that same area.
And again,
got 11 cars over there.
Coming off of Lake Maurepas and that general area. I-55 susceptible to the fog. So please be careful if you're traveling the highways and the byways. Be very, very careful. And do not drink and drive.
Why are you looking over here?
I'm just...
I mean, you're both looking over here. What the hell's wrong with that?
I'm looking at.
He's researching.
What are you doing? Research?
I'm looking. Yeah, no. Foggy Causeway Bridge over Lake Pontchartrain closed.
Yeah, I know. I just said that.
Well, I'm reading the headline in the news, and that's probably a good thing, and probably a little late in that situation.
Anyway, please be very careful and plan your travels according. Leave early if you have to. And sometimes you might want to leave later than normal to avoid the that fog.
Foggy Causeway. Let's see if I can get this to stay on. Foggy Causeway Bridge over Lake Pontchartrain closed after multiple crashes.
Yes.
Both spans of the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway were closed Tuesday morning due to multiple crashes, a bridge official said. It seems as if people should realize that this time of year, foggy conditions, slow down.
Slow down and plan your timing accordingly if you can. But anyway, 693-1600, Ms. Delynn Chiasson, councilperson for, I was trying to figure out the district numbers, and I know I'm in District 7, so
That would be her, huh? Nope.
it'd be 8, or I don't know how numerically 8, 9 with Daniel being the 9th.
I don't know.
Anyway, she is scheduled for 10:30. So, looking forward.
She'll be here in just a few minutes. And again, as it says, both spans of the Lake Pontchartrain Causeway were closed Tuesday morning due to multiple crashes. A bridge official said,
Yep. That's we're going to close the chapter on Lake Pontchartrain. I wonder how the fog on our Fouchon road. Is there any?
Well, I didn't see no fog coming to work.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
The fog coming off the pastures in the mornings when on weekends when I go to spars, you can see the fog because of the temperature of the grass.
Right.
And for some reason, 32, 35, the temperature of the road still warm from the day before, and there's less fog on the road, thank God. But I was just wondering, like, the stretch over the marsh.
Oh, over that.
Leeville.
I don't have any idea.
So I'm glad I don't have to make that trip every morning like a lot of people have to.
Believe it or not, the safest way to get to Fouchon
What?
is take LA1, the old LA1. I know you're looking at me like,
they knew what they were doing.
But it's the truth.
Where does that come from?
Because there's nobody on it.
So if you happen to go off the road,
well, you have to wait a while.
You're going to have to wait a long time for a rescue. But anyway,
just to say,
just a sidebar. You had mentioned Devin Didon is going to be coming on before Christmas.
Well, I want to talk about the fire safety, right?
Right, and I was going to bring it up now.
Go ahead.
If you have a so-called real tree in the house, keep water in the bottom. I think helps the tree absorb water. If I'm not.
That's right. No, that's right.
So
you can check that every day. I mean, it's not rocket science.
No, but I mean it's a fire hazard. You know, we love pretty Christmas trees all lit up, but it is very dangerous. Please be cautious on positioning and lighting.
And of course, make sure that you turn it off when you go to bed.
10-4.
Have you seen a Christmas tree on fire? A dry one?
Oh man,
it's like a match.
Doesn't take long.
Mother.
Yep. But anyway.
Oh, it was clear, by the way, going to Fouchon. Our roving reporter, Mitch Danos.
Mitch?
Yeah, he said it's clear as a bell.
Probably 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning.
He goes to work like me early in the morning.
Yeah.
So
maybe we can get a more another update or so, but we should be okay for now.
Would you doubt the accuracy of Trump's
No, but
report?
if you're looking at 3 or 4 hours ago, that's not news. That's old.
Anyway, I'd hate to be on the water fishing with fog. That is a recipe for disaster.
Not that right.
So anyway, this holiday season with a lot of school time off, a lot of dads are going to take their kids fishing and hunting. Please be extremely careful, especially hunting. The guns they kill, the unloaded ones, you think they're unloaded. Be very, very careful, please. Gun safety.
And that should start at a very early age, I think. Again, that was not something that I was raised with, but learned about it when I came down here. And certainly it's something we tried to teach the younger people. In fact, we did, and we were fortunate that nothing tragic happened. But yeah, that's right up our alleyway is gun safety.
I wanted to ask Brennan Mathern's Captain or Major Brennan Mathern with Lafourche Parish Sheriff's Office. Their gun safety classes that I know they used to have them. I'm sure they still have them.
Yes, they do.
But before an individual is allowed to have a rifle in a stand, you have to have X number of hours of gun safety for a class from the sheriff's office. Right. So anyway, you're never too old to learn about gun safety. So
and it's so important that not only the young people learn this, but people of all ages learn gun safety. That's the bottom line.
Well, not to bring up a sore subject, but was it Chiasson's father or uncle accident with just carrying shotguns or rifles and got shot in the leg and hit an artery, and it was a fatal accident. But it's when you think it's unloaded, you never know. So check and double check.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a quick time out. Just about that time, we're going to take a time out. Let's see, where's my sheet? Talking to Bayou, brought to all of us by Thibodaux Regional Health System. The Diabetes Self-Management Program at Thibodaux Regional offers comprehensive diabetes service instruction and support. Rev, RTC, E-Tel, and Vision Communications are now Rev, KLEB's internet service provided for streaming, and Lady of the Sea General Hospital, focusing on quality health care. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back.
Raging Cajun weather for tonight calls for patchy fog. We'll have mostly cloudy conditions at a low of 58. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies will gradually become sunny, our high 71. It'll be partly cloudy Wednesday night with a low of 54. Thursday looks to be a sunny day with a high of 62. We'll have clear skies Thursday night with a low of 48. We'll finish the week Friday with a sunny day, our high 61. Again, overnight, we'll have mostly cloudy skies, patchy fog, and a low of 58. I'm Rod Tanner on the Ragin' Cajun.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Jeff Palermo. The 2024 Louisiana Electoral College meets at 11:30 at the state capitol today to cast their official votes for President Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance. Joel Watson with the Louisiana Secretary of State's office says he can watch the historic moment on the Louisiana Legislature's website.
That's legis.la.gov. If they want to view the live stream of this event, it starts at 11:30 a.m., and the meeting of the electors themselves, when they cast their vote, will start at 12.
Researchers at Texas A&M Corpus Christi have found pharmaceuticals, including fentanyl, in several bottlenose dolphins in the Gulf of Mexico. Marine biologist at Texas A&M Corpus Christi, Dr. Dara Orbach, on how this is possible.
They're usually getting different contaminants from the prey. So that would suggest that the prey are either drinking or consuming or absorbing these different drugs, and then they reach their way all the way up the food chain or the food web to the apex predators like dolphins.
Louisiana Radio Network.
Healthcare.gov has plans for health because you have plans for life. All plans cover doctor visits and emergency care to keep you and your family running strong. All plans cover hospital stays and prescriptions so you can have peace of mind. Visit healthcare.gov to explore health plans from the brands you know. 4 out of 5 customers can find a health plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Final deadline to enroll is January 15th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Celebrate the magic of the season with last-minute deals at Target. With up to 50% off toys and video games, you'll save so much while you finish your list. Plus, you'll find incredible deals on clothing, beauty, small appliances, floor care, and so much more. And there are even more ways to save when you join Target Circle for free and get exclusive deals automatically. Hurry to save on gifts before last-minute deals are over. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
State police have arrested a former Bossier City Police deputy chief for carnal knowledge of a juvenile. Investigators say 57-year-old Richard McGee committed the crime of felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile with at least one victim from 1994 to 1999. He was booked into the Caddo Correctional Center. A beloved sheriff in North Louisiana has passed away. Colleen Crane reports.
Richland Parish Sheriff Gary Gilly passed away over the weekend at the age of 66. His family was at his side. One of Sheriff Gilly's contemporaries, Ouachita Parish Sheriff Mark Mashaw, says Gilly's death is not only a huge loss for Richland Parish, but for all of Louisiana.
This department's in mourning over the loss of Sheriff Gilly, but he was one of us.
Gilly worked in law enforcement for almost 30 years, the last 8 as sheriff. His funeral will be held Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Mangum Baptist Church, preceded by visitation starting at 10 a.m. I'm Colleen Crane.
And I'm Jeff Palermo, Louisiana Radio Network.
Golden Motors has the vehicles you need, whether it's a car, truck, SUV, or van. Golden Motors has it. If it's a commercial vehicle desired, we got it. Flatbed or service body trucks for your fleet or that hard-to-find full-size passenger van or cargo van, we got it. Serving our community for 70-plus years, making us proud. And we appreciate every single one of you. Golden Motors, Highway 3235 on the back road. And cutoff, price is priority. Chevy together, let's drive.
Set yourself up for success when planning your next event. Whether it be a festival, Mardi Gras, rodeo, or outdoor music venue, Joe's Septic Contractors says it's important to cover your bases well before the days of your event. Joe's Septic Contractors can supply 1 to 18 stall restroom, air-conditioned trailers, shower trailers, and temporary fencing 24/7. Planning an event? Visit joeseptic.com. Locations in Cutoff, Thibodaux, Fourchon, Abbeville, Reserve, Odessa, Texas, and Pascagoula, Mississippi.
When you're sick, you want to be close to home. World-class medicine doesn't require a trip to the city because the best care is close to home at Thibodaux Regional. We're continually adding new services, and our team of physicians has grown to more than 250.
That's a lot of doctors.
More doctors, more services, treating more conditions.
And keeping more families healthy.
World-class medicine, right here, close to home at Thibodaux Regional.
Whether you've been injured in a car or in a boat, call Scott Vignair Injury Lawyers. We fight for the win.
Scott Vignair, injury attorneys. We fight for the win.
David Vignair, New Orleans, LA 2417685, Page Inglesing.
And welcome back to Talk on the Mic. Ken at the mic, but Bud at Master Control. And truck is somewhere still in the area, fortunately for all of us. And Dylan Chiasson is in the studio as well. And Dylan, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Certainly one of the big stories is drainage over at Cutoff Elementary. But I'm going to turn this over to you because you have a lot of fish to fry, eggs to fry, whatever it might be, and there's always something, right?
That's it. It's always something. Yes.
Yeah. I know you have plenty of notes, so I'm going to be quiet.
I've been wanting to come on for some time. It's a matter of between work schedule and everything that's going on in my personal life as well. But so the drainage on West 55th, that's around the Cutoff Elementary School. We've been, and when I say we, myself, along with Parish Administration, Department of Public Works, have been talking about what to do and how we're going to make this happen. June 5th and 6th, in that time frame, discussion began with the engineers. June 26th, a cost proposal engineer survey happened. In July, it was notice to proceed. So July 7th and 10th, the preliminary survey and came through, and they increased the scope. In August, there was a request to give engineers recommendation and cost. Final plan was given on September 30th, and then it goes to budget for 2025. So it costs to do these big projects, and not to mention it involves cooperative endeavors, agreements with Cutoff Elementary and the center. So some of this funding is going to have to come from other entities as well as just parish government, right? 2 weeks ago, Lafourche Parish School Board did hire their own engineer. They've been talking with our Public Works Department and the other engineers that we've hired. We do need additional right-of-way from landowners. They don't always want to give, but
really,
we're going to need that in order to make this happen as well. Changing culverts under the cross street is going to be one of those big things we have to do. There is a culvert running underneath Cutoff Elementary. They're talking about having to abandon completely because it's collapsed. And how do you change a culvert that's running under a building? They want to dig the ditches bigger around the school into the yard, not going towards the school, but going towards the yard. Culvert under the school, I talked about that, and both engineers are agreeing with that. The sitting in the school line, picking up kids, you can see when we have those heavy downpours, 3, 4, 6 inches of rain in a very short amount of time. There's a lot of water draining from West 54th onto West 55th Street. They're taking on a lot of water, and there was water that used to drain into the bayou. It doesn't drain into the bayou anymore. It's going to the back. The culverts under 3235 are too high, and that's that west side drainage project that we're involved with the state. There was a grant that was approved. We got the grant approved, and it went to council last month for approval to move forward to get that drainage project happening. So there's multiple culverts from that area, West 55th, Providence, all the way up to West 11th Street, where culverts need to be lowered in order for that water to get to the bayou. We're trying to avoid draining to the bayou. We're not draining to the bayou anymore. Bayou gets filled, the culverts get filled, that water's not going anywhere.
But if it drains in a different direction, that's the better option.
Yeah, if we can get it draining to the other direction. So, and we have drainage problems going everywhere because, look at the time frame we are. We're in 2024, and a lot of these culverts were placed in 35, 40 years ago. Those culverts were metal. They're failing. The new culverts that are being put in now is that hard plastic material that's going to last a little longer than this metal stuff that's rotting.
So bottom line is we are in line for some, or at least the residents of that area, the parents, the students, et cetera, the schools are in line for something that's an improvement.
Yes. Look, years ago when Mr. Rodney Ducey was councilman, he went and got it started with Mr. Crosby and the land ownership there to get some drainage happening, to improve that drainage area. They raised the parking lot around Cutoff because parents and kids were leaving school in ankle-deep water to get in their cars. So some improvements happened. Over time, we've had some culvert failures now, so we need to go back in and redo what was going on, or what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of catch basins from the tour that I took along the center, the school, that has to be replaced. And I'm sure between the catch basins, you have culvert replacements that have to take place. The vegetation in the canals, that has to be redug and maintained, because too much vegetation, it hampers the flow of water. And that's why we have a lot of pooling in the, I guess, in between the two streets. And what's in between the two streets? Two schools.
Correct. Yep. Yes, the grass needs to be cut in those ditches for sure. Right. And that, I don't know if that's an issue with the right-of-ways. I was trying to get that clarification on that myself. I'm not sure why it wasn't being kept up, but the barn, the guys get on the tractors, they're supposed to start from one end and work to the other, and that's all the ditches in the streets and all the outfall canals, and I'm not sure what happened there.
And the ditches that I'm specifically referring to, the ones that are going around the Crosbys, and obviously a tractor doing highway cutting is cutting along the highway. They're not cutting zigzagging through properties. So, and I know we have a servitude we have to stick by, and property owners have to work with the parish and the drainage district. And I know everybody wants to protect their property, but there's a servitude, and you hope that you can fit a tractor, lawnmower, or whatever.
and do as less damage as possible on other people's property.
Let me ask this: how long has this problem been in existence?
How old is Cutoff Elementary?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a constant, and it always will for the area that we live in. It's that this is where we are. This is where we live. It's the when the street gets raised and when the ditches are getting collapsing or the culverts are collapsing. It's like I said, it's been 30 years in the making, and here we are.
So it's a fixable problem, but nothing simple.
Nothing simple, and it won't be free.
No. Well, that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I know you have plenty to talk about, but mostly people were interested in this drainage situation.
Right, and then I got attacked on another situation.
Oh, what's that?
I do want to discuss that
situation.
Ahead. So, 1994, my husband, where him and his first wife were living, they had landscape culverts in a ditch, and that's all it was landscape culverts. Parish and Drainage Board was doing a road improvement and drainage improvement for that area. The houses in the middle of that street do flood, and at that time there wasn't a subdivision on the other side. And when I'm talking about the subdivision behind McDonald's,
right?
Parish and Drainage Board approached Carl and his father-in-law and asked to dig a larger ditch and to help the people that were flooding, and they agreed to it. It was a 10-foot ditch. They removed it. They kept the landscape culverts that he had put down and installed 36-inch culverts and no catch basins. And, it worked for some time. Well, after numerous calls from this past spring and summer with all these heavy rains we were getting, numerous calls from a resident that lives in the middle of the street to the parish. So the parish went out and inspected. They were blowing out the culverts, and they couldn't blow out the culverts in front of my stepson's home. So that's when they started digging and discovered the culverts had collapsed. They were collapsed. There was no helping them. No, I want to show up the pictures.
Metal culverts.
So this is what they pulled up.
Okay.
And you can scroll through and see the pictures. And I'm sorry, it's radio. We can't show the pictures on the radio, but.
What's the opportunity for improvement here?
So the plan came to dig them out, and they were going to leave it as an open ditch. They would have had to go 3 feet more into the yard and 3 feet more to the road. And as you can see through these pictures, you can't do that. It's a 12-foot ditch that was dug. And every day after they dug, the dirt was just constantly caving in. It's sliding in. It's not staying. That's right against the house. And when all this was taking place, I told, I was open to Parish, and I said, listen, this is my stepson's. You're going to have to talk to him about what's going on here. I can't get involved in this. This isn't me, because it is an ethics issue. So the street, like I said, of West 40th also drains onto West 41st. Now we have a subdivision that's adding water onto this area. So Parish reinstalled 36-inch cutouts, and they added catch basins this time, which before they didn't have catch basins. This house, the boy's house, my stepson's house, was never in danger of flooding. They can access their property from their property they own along 3235. Right. This was not a project done for us, for my stepsons, to have landscape culverts. This was a big drainage issue that was causing problems for the people in the middle of the street. The funding for this came out of the operations budget. It was not a drainage project that needed approval from council. This is money that we have for drainage, for street improvements, and that's where we are. This whole street was pretty messed up with the blacktop. There was a lot of road failure. They just fixed it 2 years ago, I think, in the road project. And if we hadn't corrected this flooding issue, what was the money spent on the road for? Then it's a waste.
Are there other people in the neighborhood who are having the same problem, or is it specific just to your son, or
well, the neighbors across from him, they don't have problems with the flooding because they're on the ridge. It's a big bowl in the middle of the street, so the front is fine. The middle of the street gets flooded, and in order to get that water to drain out the back, you have to dig the ditch lower than what that is sitting. So they went 12 inches deep, to get that out. And they're digging along the backside of along 3235. The parish is digging to get that water flowing along Mr. Paul Dufresne's property. Any questions on? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I noticed from I guess the lumber mill going north, they were cleaning out a sorely needed cleaning of 3235's ditch, trying to get the water to other, I guess, other crossings for 3235 instead of just the one. And wasn't there some borings done of new crossings of 3235?
I'm not sure if they did new borings yet. I don't know if that happened yet. I can't answer on that. This is what it looked like before. This is his landscapes, his culverts he had in before was this. They pulled them out and put this in.
That subdivision has been flooding for, well, I guess ever since it was built. My sister-in-law had a house on the back ridge. Anyway, it bellies, and obviously to get the right depth to get the water to the back, you end up with a fairly large ditch on the back end.
Yeah, that was the ditch. That was the ditch in front of their home. It's like a little bayou. Yeah. Okay, and then I also want to bring up West 11th Street. So West 11th Street, again, it's pretty much the same. They had flooding in one part of the street, and to get the water to drain down, they had to dig in the back and dig a ditch bigger and deeper than what they had previously. So they did. The ditch was failing, similar to what was going on at my stepson's. The mud was constantly falling in, and if you got mud falling into the ditch, then the whole point of digging it out for drainage is not working. Not to mention they were worried about the buses passing on the street and the road failing. So they went in on West 11th Street, and they did install some large drainage culverts there as well to save that area, and it was done just where the ditch was failing. But again, that was funding that was taken from operation. It wasn't a special project. It wasn't budgeted in. It was operations drainage money. Mm-hmm.
So in the end, is this a fixable situation?
Which one?
Any of them.
They're all fixable.
They are.
Some of them takes more funding than others, and some of them involving more people than others, more entities the Lafourche Parish School Board is going to have to come up with a little bit on their end, as well as the center and the parish for their drainage. West 11th is pretty much fixed, except for those culverts under 3235 that we have to work on.
And is there a timeline of fixability here?
You're talking about parish government,
right?
Any government entity timelines. I mean,
could be a while.
Golden Meadow Bridge is still out.
Right.
We were promised that would be up and running soon. So
now, Councilman Lorraine's, I guess, beef with the drainage district that we used to have, and that money got diverted and I guess sent up north and consolidated. Mr. Albert Guidry, the old drainage district that we had before, is no longer in operation, from what I'm told. But the diversion of funds may be out of your hands, but taking money away from a project, Bayou Street, a project that was to put culverts and I guess doing basically the same thing, trying to relieve a certain part of the street, but the money was taken into a different area by, I'm assuming, the administration. Is there any way to recover those funds for a said project that was approved, if that makes any sense?
right. My understanding of that situation was the drainage, the culverts for what they were wanting on West 107th was behind homes and not where the street is, not where flooding is going on. It was just to put behind homes so they didn't have a ditch behind their house. It's not along the street. It's not. No one was in danger of flooding from this ditch and these culverts, or the reason to put culverts. I don't know. Public Works always says an open ditch is better when you can clean it out and it's not causing other problems. This open ditch on West 11th and open ditch on 41st was causing other problems with collapsing of the road and collapsing of the property. Yes. That money was deobligated and brought to Providence Street where they installed a culvert. They were having drainage issues there. That was in my first term. Deobligating money isn't, that's not me that did it. Right. That was done. I'm sorry.
You got a caller. Let's go to the caller line. Bonjour, you're on live on Talking the Bayou.
Good morning. I have some questions about the topic being discussed at the school. If I heard Councilwoman Chiasson correctly, she said that people were calling in over the spring and summer by the job at her stepson's, which is why the parish got on that job so quickly, correct?
No, sir, that's not what I said.
What did you say? I apologize.
What I said was a resident. You're talking about two different things, and I didn't say that. A resident called in during spring and summer concerning the flooding on West 41st Street and the drainage problems they were having there.
Correct. If that job's already being worked on and we found budgeting for it. But in your own words, you said when they asked how long has this problem persist, you said since the school's been built. Why is it that school's been in existence 30 to 40 years now? We haven't been able to find the budgeting or the resources to correct that problem, but we found the resources to correct that other problem so quickly.
No, around the school, yes, we've had flooding issues there. They've been corrected over time, and over time we have more issues that pop up that need correcting as well.
They haven't been corrected, though, because 4 years ago, they had the flooding in the parking lot that they raised the parking lot for. So, no, the issues haven't been corrected at all. And the toilets, as I understand it, have been backing up for a while.
Well, that I'm going to say is a school. What happens in the school building really has to come from the school board. The drainage. This is multiple agencies, government agencies, and somebody has to get them all working together in the same direction. And I think not making any excuses for anyone, I think that the accumulation of these problems, the result is what we've seen, the mold buildup. We got to get rid of the culvert that goes beneath the school, and obviously the flow of water, point A to point B in that area, going to the back, has to be improved, or we're going to be fighting the same problem. A lot of Band-Aids were put by elevating parking lots, but that didn't fix the drainage problems. But the toilet issues and stuff like that at the school, I think the school board needs to address those things with the council person together.
Well, the school's shut down right now. Why don't we have some kind of special, I don't know, meeting or something to get this done now while the school's shut down and rectify this problem? Why are other problems so easily to be handled, but a school having mold in it? If they fix the problem wherever the water's coming in from, if you don't fix the drainage, you're going to deal with water problems till the end of time. it's a futile effort what they doing here. I don't understand why this can't be handled right now while the school shut down and get it taken care of. It should be that simple.
I just got a message from Mr. Archie. He has met with the superintendent, and they are working with the engineers that has been hired. It's an issue that it doesn't get worked in overnight because it takes more than it's not just one ditch. It's multiple ditches. It's multiple problems that's going on, and they have to work through that.
But it hasn't been happening overnight.
School is happening right now.
What's that?
There's still school happening today.
At that location?
Yes.
But haven't they? Okay, then I misunderstood. Haven't they have to separate the kids to another area of the school? Why are some of those kids going to schools in different places?
Oh, some children have left because those parents decided to take their children and move them elsewhere.
I mean, if that don't say how severe this issue is, I don't know what does. But you said it doesn't happen overnight. The problem hasn't been happening overnight. It's been going on for a while.
And that's true. And if it's been going on for a while, then that's something that probably should have been rectified, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Right, but the mold issue in the school has more to do with the air conditioning system than the flooding. The flooding is not a good issue. The flooding has to get fixed. But the air conditioning is the mold.
Is the job on 41st Street going on right now?
The job on 41st Street is almost complete.
So this whole time, why don't we take them guys and that money and put it on the school?
Well, those are two different entities. Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate the call, and it's just about time for us to take a time out. We can wrap up this segment here in the next minute or so. But
I do want to finish with this.
Yeah, you can. Well, we have plenty. We have plenty of time for you.
Okay, Friday, I felt attacked. What happened in front of my stepson's house in that drainage ditch had nothing to do with me. It's not why I was elected. It's not why I ran for office. That problem popped up on us unexpectedly, and it was handled. To say that what I did was malfeasance of office or unethical, I felt attacked last week.
Right.
Well, we're gonna keep the door open. And we're going to see what President Archie Chiasson and
there are people
Jared
involved.
Martin.
Yeah, there are people involved here.
I'd like to get a response from them on what kind of plan of action are we going to have, and allow everyone an opportunity to come back. I mean, we're opening the door for you if you want.
Correct, and I think we'll have a
clearer picture.
And do a town hall meeting and let everyone come in and speak their mind and listen to what has to be said as well.
Well, we really appreciate you coming in today, and again, I know it's difficult to answer different type questions, but again. You're elected. People are elected certain positions in government, and the constituents have questions, and hopefully we can find and give answers.
Thank you.
That's the bottom line. I know we have a caller, but let's go ahead and take a quick time out. We're going to go to our LRN News and Weather, brought to us by State Bank and Trust Company. Gagin Banking serves just the way you like it. Member FDIC, and Lady of the Sea General Hospital, focusing on quality health care. We'll be right back.
I've seen it all. I've traveled down the Amazon. I've done the talk.